hanging it up now. Hey, welcome to a wonderful, cool fall day in southern Idaho, working on CJs. So today I'm getting ready to pull a motor out of a CJ that I bought for parts, helping out a guy with his project who's got a bad motor. The Jeep I'm taking this out of is an 1980 CJ7, and yeah, it's got a good motor, runs good. I actually drove it around when I first got it. Had a 2150 Motorcraft carb on it. Actually, I think in a previous video I put 2150 on my scrambler. That carburetor had problems with leaking and needed to be rebuilt. So instead of taking the time to rebuild it and not having the scrambler available, I took the 2150 off of this Jeep and stuck it on my scrambler, and works great. Yeah, it's been super. I've been happy with that change. 2150, I don't know, they just seem to be working better than the Holly 3236s I was using, because I don't have to fool with the fuel pressure as much from the mechanical pumps. I also did an HEI conversion on the scrambler. I think I talked about that in the video as well. So if you get a chance, go watch that video where I changed it, and you'll see how that went. So let me show you. Here's the engine bay on this 1980 CJ7. She's kind of a rust bucket. Tub's pretty rusted, and as many of you know that have ever dealt with CJs, anytime somebody puts diamond plate on the sides, you can pretty well be sure that they're covering up some rust. So there's rust on this side, diamond plate on this side, there's rust here, diamond plate on the corners. Now I reached up underneath there to feel what kind of rust is there. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. So this has basically become a parts rig. I've sold some pretty good parts out of it, helped out some people on some different projects. It's got a good windshield frame, T176 4-speed Dana 300. Somebody has replaced the floor pans in it, and they didn't do too bad of a job. A lot of silicone, but even the floor pan repairs have started to rust on that side. So anyway, we are going to part it out, and so right now I got the fenders loose from the grill on both sides. We'll take the grill support rods off. I've got the radiator draining, and we'll get this pretty much ready to pull the motor. Customer is coming on Saturday to pick it up. He's pretty excited to get this for his CJ project. He's got a 1980 CJ5, I believe, that he wants to put this in. His previous one, I think, burned up or something along those lines. Don't know for sure. Anyway, so I'm going to put the camera here on the rig and just start working on this. Find something unusual, I'll stop and show you. One thing I did see is that this one actually has a YJ radiator in it. Many of you know that YJs used 4.2, I think in 87 and 88 when they were first switching over, before they went to the 4.0. I don't even remember when the 4.0. Somebody out there probably knows. If you know, put it in the comments, let me know. But yeah, 4.0s came along, and so these were probably 4.2s were probably left over from the CJs when they switched to the YJs. And so I think that's why the radiator fits in here so well. It's basically the same thing. I don't even know for sure if this is the original motor. The tag has it at a 258, but I have no way of knowing. I know this is the older style with the metal valve cover, which many of you will know that they're much better valve covers than the plastic ones that had the bolts, or yeah, the bolts that were right here, and then one on each end that tried to hold the valve cover down, and they leaked all over everything. So yeah, not a good deal. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on here for the next little bit. We'll probably put it on time lapse so you don't have to watch me do everything, but here we go. All right, so I've got the grill all loosened, and the radiator separated from it. I usually just leave the wiring harness in it, unless of course somebody needs it. Strange wiring in here. I don't know what this goes to. Anyway, let's get this other cross light out, or marker light I should say, and voila, one grill. Looks like that's in pretty good shape. Shouldn't be too, should be pretty good for somebody else's project. Radiator, I believe, is all but drained. And it looks like it's in pretty good shape as well. Didn't seem to have any holes. Didn't leak when I put water in it before. Pretty much an open engine bay to be able to disconnect the wires, basically the power steering hoses and the motor mounts. As far as wiring goes, not a huge amount, but we'll go ahead and get the heater hoses off, the fuel line off, wiring harness loose. Of course, I took that loose up here to get the grill piece off. This is one of the small plug ones, tub for right now. Someone will probably ask me for that. Those don't last very long. Anyway, so yeah, I'll keep going on this. Got to loosen the bolts off of the exhaust. Some other interesting wiring pieces in here. We'll find out what those are as we go along. So yeah, this is heading out on Saturday. I'll probably take the fan off so it doesn't hook or bend, and give it to the customer as well. So yeah, so I'm gonna keep going on this. We'll go from there. Okay, I got this side undone. Got the heater hose lines off. I got the wiring unhooked and tucked back out of the way. It's just kind of hanging over the back there. Fuel lines unhooked. Took a few more lines off. I gotta pop this throttle cable piece loose. Road. And then I got the non-pressure side on the power steering pump loose. I got that draining a bit. We'll undo this next and get that disconnected, and then I'll have just the exhaust and the motor mounts to go. So, oh, pocket loose. What do you know? Where it was getting it out of before. I don't know if you can see that. It's got this little hose piece on it here, this hard hose, and the flexible line bolts in right there, so that makes it much easier for getting out. Alright, so there's those, they're draining off. Undo this line and take it off the side of the motor down there. This is the return fuel line back to the tank. Cut the hose, it looks like it's pretty rotten anyway, so they can redo that when they put it back on. Okay, a little difficulty getting the exhaust off of there. You can see that down in there, but somebody drilled a hole up through the manifold gas attachment and put a nut through the top right here. Difficult to get loose, so that was kind of a bugger, but I got that loose. That should be it, except for the motor mounts. Motor mounts, I'll have to go underneath and take those off with the big gun, and then motor should be ready to lift out of there. Oh no, wait. Completely spacing the transmission. Yes, I got to put the Jeep up on a little bit of a lift so I can get under and loosen the transmission. I don't know what I'm thinking. At least got to get all the bolts out of it so that I can then slide it forward and out. Okay, so I'm going to jack this up, put the lifts under the wheels. They're basically just ramps. It just gets a little bit higher so I can wheel underneath it a little bit easier. We'll get those bolts loosened up. The Jeep up on the wheel chocks, and I got the starter out down there. Now I'm going to work on the other bolts, holding the transmission in there. I'm going to have to take this all loose, take this out so I can reach those top bolts. Okay, got a pretty good distance on this today. It's getting kind of late in the shop. It's time to go up and get some dinner and call it a night. But so we'll be back just like that. And just like that, we're back. Pretty cool. So still working on this CJ7, getting the motor out for a customer coming on Saturday. My brother went ahead and pulled the fenders off for me, which makes things a little bit easier to see and also to get at the bolts that are still in here. I'm gonna work on getting the bolts out of the transmission so that the rest of it's loose, and then we'll get the chain hooked up to it and get it picked up out of the way. That's where we're at. Sorry about the extra noise. It's harvest time here in southern Idaho, and so we have harvest trucks going by. Got the rear door open because it is really a nice day. But we're gonna go ahead and get going on this, and probably set the camera up and put it on time lapse. Okay, now we've gotten to the point where I'm gonna drop the tranny down just a little bit. So underneath here, and I'm gonna take the drive line loose. Alright, so we got the bolts out of the pan there, and so I'm gonna let this down You should let the transmission and everything come down a little bit, just enough, and tilt the motor just enough, and I should be able to get in there and get those bolts out of the top housing. That's the next part I gotta get to. And they're kind of hard to reach, especially where they're at. So, all right, so I got the first one started, coming out. These are much easier to reach when you got it up on the left and you pull the transmission out first. But in this case, we're doing it opposite. And I don't have room on the left right now. Got the wrecker on there. Trying to get that project done. All right, getting the other one taken out. It should be all of them. Oops. I'll go around and reach it from the top. Okay, got all the bolts out. Picker over here. I took the front end down so that it would be able to lift it far enough. So we're gonna go ahead and take this up. There we go. Pop loose. See if we can't get that transmission to let go. Don't know why that is hanging up like that. Okay, we got it loose there. It just needed to have the motor let down a little bit. It was just up a little high on a bind. So go back over here. Lift this back up. Yes, granted it's lifting only in the front because I wasn't able to get the chain to the back. Hanging it up now. Like it's the exhaust. Higher. Okay. I remember now why I like removing the transmission first before pulling the motor, because it makes a big mess otherwise. Anyway, it did come out. It made a mess. So what I'll do now is relocate that bolt so that it's lifting from the back, and that way when I pick it up it'll be a little bit easier to control and keep it level. Anyway, so okay, got it relocated on the back there, and it's, as you can tell, the motor will hang much better. Doesn't look so bad now, and it's not going to spill stuff out all over the place. So anyway, now I can take the clutch and the pressure plate off, and that doesn't go with it. So break that down. Okay, there it is, ready to go. 258 inline 6, Motorcraft 2150 carburetor, power steering. Yep, this is how it's being sold. The gentleman that's coming to get it is pretty excited to have a good motor to put in his CJ5, and I'm happy to be able to help somebody else out with their project. So that's probably it for this one. Customer will come on Saturday and pick it up, but also got a lot of other good parts left on this. Good transmission, transfer case. There's a few more things to strip off of it before it goes out in the yard. But thanks for watching. If you like what you see here at Idaho CJ Restoration, please like and subscribe. And remember, let's keep those CJs rolling.